Hello watch fans, it's Anders here on Watch On channel. Today a video which is a bit different than all of the reviews and lists and unboxings I usually do here on the channel. I have saved up some money and I'm looking for my next luxury watch purchase. And I kind of downsized my shortlist to 4 watches and I want to get your help. Which of these watches do you think is the best? So the first one is the Zenith Defy classic ceramic skeleton dial. I really like this $6,500 watch because it's a different watch. It's a watch in another material. It's very sporty. It's very kind of pronounced on the wrist. And it's also an entry into a very interesting brand. So you get a 41mm ceramic watch. The case is made of ceramic, the strap is made of rubber, and then the buckle, the clasp, is made of ceramic and titanium. And I think that's a very interesting combination. A very sporty watch. My preference is definitely the blue because it's legible and it's a perfect kind of spring and summer watch. It has the Zenith Elite manufacturer movement, which is a 28,800 vibrations per hour movement, which has 50 hours of power reserve and 100 meters of water resistance. So all in all, this is a very pronounced and sporty watch with some cool materials. And I got 3 pluses and 3 minuses of why I should consider this watch for my next luxury watch purchase. So the first plus is that it has these amazing materials. I don't have any other watches in ceramic. I have one watch in titanium. That's my Grand Seiko Snowflake. It's very scratch resistant and it will look new even 10 years down the line. I also like the sporty look. It's a very sporty, kind of fresh looking watch in the blue version. And I think that would be a really cool watch for some occasions to actually wear this watch. And the rubber strap is a big plus in this as well. And then also the lightness. This is a watch you will not notice on the wrist because the rubber and the ceramic and the titanium, it's just very light. So it will kind of disappear on my wrist, which I think is pretty cool. So also the minuses. The minus, the biggest one, is that it's not very versatile. It is a watch that is very much for 1 or 2 occasions. It's definitely for a more casual dress. It is not a dress watch. It's a very pronounced sports watch, a very loud sports watch. Also the legibility is an issue, especially with the black one. It is harder to actually read the time because of the skeletonized movement and the hands. And I think that legibility will definitely also be a minus. It's something that I should definitely think about if I want to buy this watch. And then this is maybe kind of what I said with the first one. It's the limited use. So moving on to the next one, and this is the Piaget Polo S. This is a watch that is priced between $8,700 to $9,500. It's a 42mm luxury sports watch, and I really like about this watch, this is kind of entry-level high horology. Piaget is a high horology brand, and this is kind of the more accessible sports collection within the Piaget lineup, and this is a first entry into high horology, moving from the likes of Omega, Grand Seiko and Rolex into a higher level. It almost has this kind of integrated bracelet style. It has a manufacturer in-house movement, the 1110P, which is a high-beat 28,800 vibrations per hour movement with 50 hours of power reserve. The finishing of the stainless steel is absolutely exquisite. This is finishing to a high level. And this is what I really like, that this is moving very much both with the movement and also the finishing of the watch into high horology. It's 100 meter water resistant. And of course I have 3 points of why I really want to get this watch and 3 points of what is kind of keeping me from getting this watch. The first one is that it's, as I said, an entry into high horology. It's not up there with Audemars Piguet, Patek Philippe or Vacheron Constatin, but it's definitely an entry level into it. And I think that it's priced at around less than you would buy a used Rolex for. The other thing is that it's a steel sports luxury watch. I like sports watches, so I think it's really befitting for my collection and my personal style that you get a sports watch. And it's also very versatile. That's my third point. Because it's a steel sports watch, you can use it both as a dress watch because of the finishing and the design, but you can also use it as an everyday luxury timepiece. My minuses is definitely the date window, and that's why I will only go for a white model if I go for this watch. I think the date window at 6 o'clock is too pronounced. It kind of breaks the symmetry of the dial, and definitely the date window is a minus for me. Maybe it's too much of an homage. This is definitely something I'm thinking about. It is kind of an evolution of the 1970s polo watches from Piaget, so it has its own characteristics and its own DNA from the Piaget history, but it's also very much in the Nautilus vein, so maybe it will become too much of an homage. And my third point is definitely the service cost. I haven't researched the service cost, but usually with these brands it's very expensive and it's very prolonged service times, and that's kind of a negative for me, because if you want to service the watch maybe every 6 or 7 years, you will have to pay a huge service cost and you will have to wait for months. So moving on to the one watch that sticks out a bit from these 4 watches, and that's the Vacheron Constatin 56. This is priced at around $12,000. This is a 40mm classic style dress watch, very elegant design. It is also, just like the Piaget, an entry into high horology. Vacheron Constatin is one of the Holy Trilogy with Patek Philippe, Audemars Piguet, and then Vacheron Constatin, and that's what I really like. It's kind of an entry into high horology. It's powered by the partly manufactured movement 1326, which is a high-beat 28,800 bracings per hour movement with 48 hours of power reserve. It only has a water resistance of 30 meters. So some pluses and minuses about the 56. It is a brand which is part of the Holy Trilogy, as I mentioned before, which is very, very cool to get into these luxury, high-end luxury brands. It is also kind of an everyday versatile watch. You can definitely use this watch going to the office or just going for a dinner or something like that. But it's not a sports watch. And it's a very definitive dress and classic style watch. If you get the Vacheron Constatin 56, you have the dress watch. You don't need any other dress watches, in my opinion. And the minuses, I think it just looks and feels, from what I have seen, a little bit fragile. And as I said, it's an everyday versatile watch, but it also has its limited versatility because you can't use it going to the beach or something like that. Hiking, this is much too fragile, and with only 30 meters of water resistance, this is definitely something to look out for. It's also not a 100% manufactured movement. It is made from one of the companies within the Richemont group, which Vacheron Constatin is part of. And maybe a minus is maybe I should save some more to actually, in a year or two, be able to afford the Vacheron Constatin overseas, which is a watch I actually like much more. So my last watch within these 4 choices, this is the Jaeger-Lecoultre Polaris, which is priced between $7,200 and $7,500. I like the black one on the bracelet. I would definitely get it on the bracelet and not the leather strap. I will get a leather strap afterwards if I wanted to buy the watch. Always try to get it on the bracelet if you like the bracelet. This is a 41mm luxury steel sports watch, kind of in the same vein as Piaget Polo S, but in another style. It is again an entry level into high horology, as Jaeger-Lecoultre is kind of the watchmaker's watch in many circles. It has a JLC manufacturer 898E-1 movement, which is a high beat movement of 28,800 bracings per hour, but it only has a power reserve of 38 hours. It's water resistant to 100 meters, which is perfectly fine. So 3 pluses, it is a very, very versatile sports watch. Maybe the most versatile watch of all 4 here, together maybe with the Piaget. It has a useful feature with the inner rotating bezel. You can actually use this inner rotating bezel like on a dive watch to actually time things. And again, it is an entry level high horology watch, so you get into the high horology at the very low end. This Polaris is kind of the entry level into Jaeger-Lecoultre. And my 3 minuses, it only has a power reserve of 38 hours, and this is simply just outdated. If you see with the other watches, it's between 48 and 50 hours, so you get 2 whole days of power surf, and that's kind of a minimum today, in my personal opinion. You really need to get some more power reserve. Also, the rotating bezel, it's a very useful complication, but on the Polaris, they didn't make the crown so you can actually lock the inner rotating bezel, so this makes it just a little more not useful. If you time something and you by accident touch the crown, you can definitely destroy your timing, so that's kind of a minus as well. And also that it wears big. It is a 41mm watch, but I have tried it at an AD and it wears bigger than 41mm. So these were my 4 choices. Which would you recommend to me? And here at the end, just 3 other watches I have been looking at, but they're not in my top 4. This is a Girard-Perregaux Laureato, which is a sports watch kind of reminiscent to the Royal Oak from Audemars Piguet. This is a really high quality sports watch, which is priced at around $8,500. I also looked at a Blancpain 50 Fathoms. This is much more of a dive watch, but in this version, it is much more of a kind of dressy everyday dive watch. This is priced at around $8,500. And the last one is the Cartier Drive de Cartier, which is much more of a sporty dress style watch, which is priced at $6,500, but these didn't make it into my top 4. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. As I said, leave a comment down in the comment section, and don't forget to share this video on the forums and on Facebook, and give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching and sticking on with me here, helping me get my next luxury watch. Thank you, bye.